We have a little bit more progress today. I was able to take the steering rack off, and this tie rod, I can see how it was lined up on here, but it bent a lot. It was about that far before it broke. So I'm going to try to clean up that surface where those two come together. Just trying to patch this together good enough for now. See if we can get this thing rolling, and then I'll work on getting the front end off after we get that fixed up. I'm at the shop. I'm gonna attempt to weld this back together. So it bent really far before it broke. So if I actually tilted this to line up with how it broke, this would still be technically bent. So what I did was I lined up everything so it's in a straight line again. Even though there's a gap on this side, the joint that's in here and the shaft for the tie rod is pretty much straight all the way through. So it's basically the correct way to fix it if I want to make it as straight as possible. So I had to get some wood blocks and kind of prop everything up and get the welder clamp right on that. So I'm pretty much ready to fire this up, and maybe I'll zap it a couple times and hopefully it holds. I didn't clean anything off, so it might not be pretty. I'm just hoping I can salvage this for now. If I have to buy a new one, I will. I got all my correct PPE on. That didn't work. Let's try it again. All right, try it again. Well, I think it's stuck. Yep. It's working. One more. Try not to get it too hot because it's melting that boot just a little bit. But I got pretty good bead on there. I don't know what that is. Little booger. but that's gonna be probably good enough. Sorry for the noise. That's gonna be good enough for what we got going on. Ooh, it's a little, it got that ball joint just a little hot. So now this is kind of floppy here. Maybe I can get some water on there to cool it off. But it should be good enough to steer it. I'll get back home and try to get it back on. Me and Max have been working on the club car. This has been a lot of work. What did you do?
I straightened up pieces.
Yeah, you straightened out some pieces. This is the steering box. And I just put a little paint on it, but that joint, this joint tightened back up once the part cooled down. I think that'll be all right. This is a nightmare. What's that piece?
I don't.
Well, there's 4 bolts that hold that on. And that center is the leaf spring right here. And that leaf spring was pushed backwards on the passenger side. So I just took that off, but I broke 3 out of the 4 bolts. So we'll have to go buy new ones, yeah? Which parts did you straighten out?
I think this one.
Should we paint those?
Yeah.
I think we'll get a coat of paint on those. The A-arm bracket and the shock mount, this actually doesn't look too bad. It got a little tweaked from the arms being twisted in the bracket, but I don't think it needs to come off. It might actually benefit us to leave it on, because if we have to pull on this bracket actually goes through the frame rail, is bolted through the top flange of the aluminum. So there's one here in the top flange, and this one here goes through the top flange of the aluminum. And the back ones are actually just set on the inside of the frame on each side. So that's on the inside of the frame. If we leave this on and we pull, it should pull both sides. That's what I'm hoping anyway. And like I said, besides these mount areas just being a little tweaked, we can work on those to get them a little straighter, but this shouldn't be in a different place on this frame because it bolts through. It's not supposed to go anywhere else. So that might be a good spot for us to just leave it on and pull it all together. And we're pretty much to that point now where if we got this pulled straight, we could bolt everything back up and it could be a driver then. So we'll troubleshoot this and see what we can do for pulling on it. Well, I'm quickly realizing that straightening this frame is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. Without the wheels on it and the front suspension cradle, there's no way to put wheels on it and roll it to where I need to even try to pull on it. And it looks like the frame is actually like S-shaped here. You can see it comes out this way and then it cuts back and swoops over a little bit. Honestly, I have no way to fix that here. I'm just taking the easy way out, I think, on this. What I did was I took 3 out of the 4 bolts of the suspension cradle out and I slid this over to the passenger side because I know it's pushed to the driver's side. And basically what I'm going to do is I measured from here back to the rocker on each side and from here straight back to the firewall on each side. And I have it basically as centered as I can, and it's still hitting the frame enough that I could just drill new holes and clamp this in kind of where it is. And the suspension cradle will be just sitting off center of the frame, but the suspension will be centered to the cart. So this should steer exactly like it's supposed to. I think the only thing will be where the front bumper mounts. the front bumper might look like it's to the driver's side a little bit because that's the way the frame is pushed. And where the body mount, there's two mounts that come into the top of here. I might be able to shift them over just a hair, and I might be able to shift the bumper over just a little bit, just to kind of bury the crooked frame. So that's what we're going with. For what we paid for this, it doesn't really matter what I do with it. It could have ended up in the scrapyard and I still would have made my money back. But this way, the steering will be straight and the suspension will be straight. So I'm gonna mark this out and I'll just get ready to drill new holes to move that cradle. Okay, I got the suspension bracket. I got it moved over on the frame. So everything measures out perfect. It's in the same spot front to back, but it's mounted closer to the passenger side. So tomorrow I can start getting stuff back on. I still got to check the rear brakes. For some reason the brake pedal just goes right to the floor. But this should be good enough for this golf cart. And it will drive so nice. So hopefully don't run into too many more issues. I'll make a quick video here. I got the front end bolted back on. So now you can see the dash and that the firewall is square with the body, and now the front end is square to the rest of the cart. The frame is still bent, but it doesn't really matter. As long as we've got the right offset from where the wheels are from side to side, it should ride pretty decent. So we'll take it up for a quick spin. See how our alignment is. Turn it on. Reverse. The brakes don't really work, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, I love that reverse buzzer noise. I didn't clean anything up in here. Stuff all over the place. Kids are playing outside. Here we go. Bye, kids. Steering wheel's a little off. I did have it centered, but it must just be how the cart doesn't pull. It must just, yeah, it's where it wants to be. So I will probably unhook that and center it. I took the kids on a little ride down the street. But this thing actually rides pretty good. It doesn't pull, which is nice. I just got to get that centered and the rest of this cleaned up. Nice night for a cruise. I am too. Bye. And we'll get it back in the garage here after I sweep up. But so far, so good. The brake does not work. You can see it's pretty much to the floor. When you push on it, it does grab a little bit of the brakes, but you can't even lock it. So this is how it kind of sits right now. We're gonna take the box off. Take all the plastics off the back, sand it all down, and we're gonna paint it. I'm gonna go with nice battleship gray. but I'm very happy that it's straight. And I got seat covers for this. This, I don't know if I'll just put a little piece of foam in there and then duct tape it, because the covers that I bought actually just kind of strap over what you have. Oh yeah, and the wheels, we're gonna go gray on the wheels to match the body, and then I'm going to paint the wheel caps gloss black. So it'll be a nice looking cart. No roof bars when we're done, just because the roof is destroyed anyway, and I don't have the proper brackets that hold the seats and the rear roof bars. And the brackets that are on this, I'm just gonna cut them off, or try to make another, maybe cut some new 1-inch square tube and just make new uprights to hold this. But I am very happy it is on the ground. It's drivable. Put the wheels straight. It looks pretty good. So we'll start a new set of videos on my next upload. Thanks for watching.